engaging fireside chat. They're going to talk about the next 100 million. And as your moderator will be Michael Arrington from XRP Capital. Please welcome Michael Arrington.
Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming. I'm going to introduce the rest of our panelists. And this is my desk. I'm very prepared to have note cards. This is a rarity for me. There's a lot to get to today. So, to my left, we have Dan Schatt. Dan is the co-founder of CRED, a digital asset platform, borrowing and lending platform, with what we're going to talk about later, a $250 credit line, brand spanking, shiny new credit line. In the middle, we have Grainne McNamara. She's partner and head of PwC's blockchain division. Right? And we're going to talk about some of the news that came out about you yesterday, first thing. And JP Thieriot on the end is a co-founder of Uphold, digital asset platform for management of fiat crypto, and I didn't know there's precious metal assets as well. And so, 3 different companies, 3 different people, a lot to get to. My name is Mike Arrington. I'm the co-founder of Arrington XRP Capital. We're a hedge fund, and I happen to be an investor in everybody except Pricewaterhouse. So I'm conflicted. Okay, let's start off with the fun stuff. Actually, I'll summarize what we're going to talk about to make sure we're on the same page. So there's 3 things. The new Pricewaterhouse Cooper stablecoin was announced by the media yesterday, which there might be some errors in some of those announcements. The formation of the Universal Protocol Alliance, or the UP Alliance, which is going to bring stablecoins and other products to market. And actually, some facts about this stuff. Because there is a stablecoin, it just isn't the Pricewaterhouse Cooper stablecoin, as far as I know. And maybe a little bit of extra news at the end. Grainne, so media reports yesterday, compounded today, that have fully announced that you are announcing, releasing, and building a new stablecoin to compete with Tether and other stablecoins. All that's correct, is that right? Or is some of that incorrect?
Yeah, that's pretty incorrect, Mike. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to clarify for the audience here. So we did not launch a stablecoin. We are not backing a stablecoin. We are not auditing a stablecoin. And I'm really happy and excited to be here to tell you what we are doing in the space, blockchain and crypto, and how we're partnering with CRED, and some of the things that we hope to accomplish out of that partnership. So we did not launch a stablecoin, for those of you that read that in the media.
How does that happen though? How does it go from we're not launching a stablecoin to multiple media reports, including Fortune or Forbes, I forgot, what are the S, that you're launching a stablecoin? What happens?
Well, I think that, so here's one of the things, right, is that big 4 accounting firms like ourselves, obviously, with the work that we do, we are able to add legitimacy and credibility, right? So we audit all of the household names that people will be familiar with in the room, or we provide advisory tax services to them. So I think the media loves to watch what is it that we're actually doing in this space. Have we engaged fully? Are we there? What kind of services are we able to provide? And frankly, there is, I suppose, a sort of an existential risk to some of the audit services that we provide, given blockchain, arguably when it's fully extended, would be self-auditing. And so the question is, what are the big 4 accounting firms doing? And of course, the media loves to latch on to things that, would indicate that, we're fully in. And so I'll try to provide some clarity of course we're fully in, we're fully supportive of this market. We are trying to, and we are working with partners both on the traditional financial services side and new entrants into the space to try to do exactly that, right, which is to figure out how do we help bring scalability, maturity, legitimacy, and so on. But I think the media sort of misinterpreted that the way that we would do that would be by launching a stablecoin ourselves. And of course, that's absolutely not what we're trying to do.
Okay, and not to dwell on this, but I noticed one thing you said. Blockchain is an existential threat to the big accounting firms. You're head of the blockchain group in PwC. Does that make you unpopular with your colleagues?
Yeah, I mean, look, all of our clients, and we just published a global survey that said that 84% of our clients, and I'm not talking just financial services, I'm talking across everything PwC does, are consuming this technology in some form or fashion. So what does that mean? It means that they have digital transformation strategies that include in them building distributed networks and bringing digital assets to market, and cooperating in different ways in their own ecosystems using shared infrastructure and shared data platforms and smart contracts for workflow orchestration and the likes. And so the question is, okay, if it works and consensus works and validation works and data coming onto the chain and so on, what would the auditor do? Because we have a full history and the lineage and an immutable record in the ledger of everything that happened. What would be the job of the auditor? And so we're looking at that in terms of, again, what are the value-add services that we provide across the spectrum of advisory and audit services, and how can we partner with our clients who are entering into third-party systems where, again, the way that they're showing up is different than how we audit them today. So think about, again, the third-party risk management aspects of entering into these ecosystems, cyber risk aspects of entering into these systems. There's so many new risks that emerge that need, again, firms like ourselves who have very large practices of people, focused on cyber risk, focused on third-party risk management, focused on cloud technology, data, shared data environments, and so on and so forth. So there's lots of opportunity for us to help, and maybe the audit function itself changes the way we provide assurance, which is what we call it. At the end of the day, if you look at our mission statement, it is about trust. And so again, people will argue, well, when the blockchain technology is fully extended, that trust is implicit, it's integral, it's automated. And of course, most of us sitting here in the room know that we're quite far away from that. So there's a transitional moment where people are looking for ways to substantiate that trust exists in these networks, and what do they rely on? And so that's what we're trying to figure out. What can you rely on?
Okay, you're good. I can ask you anything, and you will have a perfect answer.
You just met me. I've turned into a really good consultant. I actually grew up in the industry.
I can tell you've been on the stage before once or twice too. All right, but there is actually a stable coin. Like, it's not PricewaterhouseCoopers stable. There is a stable coin that you guys are actually, and it's pretty cool. I say that again as an investor in both companies, or at least the alliance, and I don't know. I have a lot of investments, but the stablecoin's cool. So tell me about the actual stablecoin, so we can get that part straight.
Yeah. So now that we know what PwC, what the media knows now what PwC is doing, there's a lot of great stuff that we are working on related to standards, related to things like risk management, custody, security, defining technology standards that are necessary to really scale the next 100 million people that are coming to the market. We are really excited to be announcing that we are going to be launching a stablecoin that we think has some notable features that are significantly better than.
You're serious about a stablecoin that 100 million people instead of just a few?
Well, this one's targeted at actually the 2.5 billion people out there that aren't in crypto yet that could actually use something like this.
So they're going to use your stablecoin?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. In addition to the existing 25 million people that are out there using crypto today. And so you've got Argentinians, you've got people from Turkey, you've got people from all over the world that are in unstable fiat currencies today that are looking to get into something stable. But what's really missing, one of the things that's missing in the market right now is yield, right? The ability to actually get into a stable coin and actually earn interest on it. So we're going to be launching a stablecoin here that allows you to earn between 2 and 5% interest. So not only can you get into something stable, right? If you're in Argentina, you can now get into something stable that is earning significant value. Not to mention the fact that this is substantiated and it's the technology.
Wait. I have a question. All right, how are you paying interest on the stablecoin? So I buy the stablecoin. Maybe I sell Bitcoin. I have some stablecoin. What's it called?
The universal dollar.
The universal dollar.
Universal dollar.
And then I just earn, how am I earning interest on it?
How are you earning interest? Yeah. So the CRED is actually behind this. So CRED basically secured a $250 million credit facility today, and it's growing quickly. It's a decentralized lending platform. CRED is basically taking that, is paying out the yield. It's turning around and lending at 9, 10, 11%. So we're able to do that because we have the same infrastructure.
So you're loaning this money out.
We're loaning money out, right?
So I actually recently took a loan from you, and I think you charged me 10%. Your cost of capital is between 2 and 5%.
It will be. It will be. So your next loan's going to be a lot lower.
Yeah, it seems like it should be between 2 and 5% as a.
It will be.
Go on. I interrupted you. So that's how. So by fleecing the larger hedge funds, you're going to be able to pay everybody a nominal interest rate.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, go on.
Yeah. So the other thing that's really interesting about this is obviously we know there are issues today with Tether, right? There are issues with a lot of other stable coins that relate to transparency, accountability. Here on chain, everything that's minted, every token, dollar token that's minted, it's substantiated 1-to-1. on-chain, and you're able to see that in real time. There's a transparency function that really is what's instilling confidence in this new stablecoin. So security-wise, we've got some benefits as well.
Yeah. And that, again, that will be on the chain for anybody to look at.
That's right.
Okay, that's
right.
Any other interesting points about the stablecoin you want to bring up now? Like, when will it be released, for example?
In November, and I think the best way to think about it is it's differentiated from the existing stablecoins to the extent that it's aimed squarely at the mass market. The ambition behind it is crypto delivers the goods to 2.5 billion holders of bank account who all want cheaper credit and higher yields. So that's the hope behind it.
Okay. So one thing I don't understand though is if it's for the 2.5 billion, how are they dealing with private keys? Because I don't understand how that works. Like my parents don't want to even know what private keys are.
Sure. So the Alliance, which is putting this out and also putting out other universal tokens, which are really ERC20 wrappers around other existing coins like Bitcoin. The architecture is such that it allows somebody whose predisposition is to keep these things in a cement bunker to go ahead and do so, but when they want to trade for an abbreviated period, lend its credentials and balances for a trading session, then take it back. For grandma who has no interest in a situation wherein losing the equivalent of a password equates to losing value, it's dog simple.
So how does that work? Because does that mean like we don't actually hold the private key and therefore we don't actually have control of the currency? I don't get that part.
No, there's features that allow recoverability and inheritability in a sort of multi-sig context. Dan, if you want to speak to that.
Yeah, so it can be detached. So you don't have to choose to be able to leverage professional custodians. Our feeling is the next 100 million people, they're going to want some safeguards that exist today in mainstream financial services. So for them, this is incredibly useful, right? They can basically, it's part of a multi-sig approach. You've got two other professionals that if you lose your piece of the private key, you can recover it if you go to the two parties that do. So that's valuable. Things like inheritability are really valuable. So you can designate a beneficiary, and if you don't check in every once in a while based on rules that you set up, the token can just move to your next of kin as an example. But
well, I was going to say, I think there's probably a lot of details here, and for press and others that want to understand, because this is important, is there a website yet, or will there be, where they can really dig into this part of it?
Yeah, as of today, the white paper will be loaded to the universalprotocol.io.
Universalprotocol.io?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the stablecoin we think is a really big deal because it's not just another stablecoin out there. This is going to be something that's beneficial to everyone. But the other thing behind it that's probably even bigger is this is part of an alliance that we formed. So we basically, we looked at some of the biggest things that are holding back getting the next 100 million plus people into crypto. And we found that, basically our feeling is it's a couple things. It's interoperability, as we know, right? You have a bunch of competing blockchain systems out there. And then it's the sort of lack of investor safeguards. So CRED's come together with Uphold and Brave Software and blockchain at Berkeley. And this is the first of many things the Alliance is putting out. This is very concrete and substantive and useful from day one. It's ultimately an ERC20 token, and we're going to be minting a variety of tokens that are going to be following on the heels of this. A Bitcoin ERC20 token. So now we can reason. You've got the biggest pair out there. ETH and BTC that they can't reason with each other. Now you've got
And XRP.
Yep.
XRP.
Yeah, we'll have an XRP one, right? So now everything can be in the form of an ERC20 token. Now the way our technology is set up, if some other blockchain ends up with a much more developed smart contract infrastructure, we could always move them over to that. But we're betting right now that Thieriot is the most developed as a smart contract infrastructure for this capability. So your decentralized app now, it's not just ERC20 tokens that can reason, it's now all of these other ERC20 tokens in the form of BTC and the US dollar, et cetera.
Will you be able to pay interest on the other tokens as well, or just the stablecoin?
Eventually, but other than the stablecoins as well.
So you could theoretically theoretically, then loan out these assets with permission of the ultimate owner,
Sure.
and people could earn a yield.
Yeah, and it's a great point, because the flip side of all of this related to yield is the side of lending, right? And that's what we're also very excited about. To date, you know, when it comes to lending and lending fiat against crypto, it generally has just been about fixed loans, or it's been matching. Now what's happening is, what we sort of ask ourselves is, what is the most user-friendly loan out there other than a friends and family loan? And the answer that we realized was, well, it's probably like a home equity line of credit. The problem is not many people around the world own homes, but you can get single-digit interest rates. You don't have prepayment penalties. You pay it back any time. It's sort of just this really easy line of credit.
Because our hedge fund doesn't own a bunch of homes, it owns a bunch of crypto. It's like, why can't we get big loans? We're just starting to, for you guys, Nexo and some other guys, to be able to get loans against this. But you know, if we could actually get it's called a HELOC type
Yeah,
loan.
well, now it's a C-lock.
Yeah, and so
Crypto line of credit.
and I think people are desperate for that. So when we offer that?
This year it's coming out, not long at all, and we think it's going to be incredibly powerful.
And what would the interest rate? Will I still have to pay 10%, or will that be more competitive?
Maybe 1% or 10% discount. But,
Okay.
no, it will be really reasonable. The power of this now is that it'll be single-digit interest rates, right? And it'll be single-digit interest rates that are don't depend on where you live or who you bank with or what your credit rating is, right? It's the same because Bitcoin is Bitcoin around the world, can be valued the same, and so you'll be able to get the same, you know, low interest rate.
And what is Price Waterhouse's role here? They obviously are like releasing it, so and it's self-auditable to an extent. So are they blessing the overall structure?
Yes, so I think obviously what we're trying to do, we see ourselves as well sitting in between traditional providers of financial services, like I said earlier, and new entrants into the market who are working with them. You know, innovative technology that's, you know, arguably going to be more efficient and provide more access and reach more people. So the idea here is, okay, how does that work? How do we make secure, compliant platforms that traditional banks can interact with? Because if they're not, they can't. So credit can't come to the platform if it's not compliant and it's not secure and it's not scalable. And you know, the investor or the borrower in this case, you know, their needs also need to be protected, right? So the question is, how does that work? So we're partnering with CRED so that we can, you know, again, bring thought leadership that we already have on how it works today, and then figure together, you know, what's the appropriate way that all of these things do need to be architected from a technology point of view, from a, you know, safety and security point of view, that does allow it to scale out effectively, and that, again, people can rely on it because it's doing what it says on the tin.
Yeah, and I just add, I mean, the work that Grainne's team has done has been invaluable in helping behind the scenes to develop all of those standards and helping us with looking at the technology and what's needed to scale. What's great is, you know, in this world where everything is so decentralized, right? You've got offices all over the world, you're working in various jurisdictions with things that are very regulated traditionally. Having someone like PwC in that can provide guidance and support around the world and leverage, you know, their global network, very powerful.
I forgot to ask before on the stablecoin. Let me jump back to that really quickly, and then we'll move on. The Winklevoss is, I think it's a Gemini dollar. It's a bug and a feature that it's highly regulated, and the U.S. government or other governments theoretically could force a reversal of transactions, either with a warrant or there's some mechanism for that. I consider that a bug. Clearly, the U.S. government thinks that's fantastic. I assume you guys also will have reversible transactions, or no?
Well, it's being debated at the moment. The problem is to make something upgradable in the future is to make it pausable, and so to split those two things out from one another is a technical challenge that we're currently debating.
But from a product perspective, the answer is no.
The desire would be no, non-plausible, but if that means non-upgradable, then it's an issue.
Okay, all right. That was a no.
Hopeful no.
Okay, all right. Is there anything else you want to say about the Up Alliance itself? So we're talking about stablecoin, other products coming this year. The CLOC is an Up Alliance product as well? Or is that a CRED product only?
It's actually both.
Are you guys merging as companies?
There's an interplay between the yield products, the credit products, and the token ecosystem that I think, you know, some of the systemic advantages of this entire industry is that it's not bringing the baggage of expensive real estate and millions of employees and legacy technology. So that's an inherent advantage, but also the interplay between yield, borrowing, and token economics allows a really interesting, hopefully, leaping of rails into providing something to the mass market. The last thing I'd say about the Alliance is just simply its sort of mission statement, which is to address what we collectively feel are the three things holding back the distributed ledger industry. Foremost, the lack of a common language. So as Dan alluded, there's a sort of primordial soup of competing protocols that, despite most of the world acknowledging that this is the future, this is the coming internet of money, there's still an entry point conundrum. Is it Ethereum? Is it going to be Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Monero, Zcash? It's confusing. And so through this universal token system, we hope to bring a little forward the notion of a common language where Bitcoin can benefit from the preponderance of smart contract logic within Ethereum, can be a part of decentralized exchanges, DApps, and so forth. So that's the first ambition. The second one is to introduce conventional user safeguards associated with more mature asset classes. So mom and pop are comfortable sticking their toe in the water insofar as what today seems like a pretty rarefied, technophile sort of a thing. And then the last one is an emphasis on producing products that are germane to the mass market. That's it.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah, I just add, I think our whole, aside from the notion of getting everyone else in, it's just pushing on transparency. It's a very inclusive alliance, so we're taking in exchanges and liquidity providers and others, wallet providers. Anyone who wants to join the alliance can absolutely do so. But I think this notion of
I mean, I'm part of the alliance. I thought it was a little bit more exclusive than anybody who wants to join. I literally said I want to be part of the alliance. You're like, yep, that's great, Mike. But literally anybody in here. I mean, I guess
come talk to us.
Anybody else want to join the alliance? You get interest rates at only 4 times the interest rate they're paying out to everybody else.
But yeah, so
I can't believe you screwed me on the interest rate.
I want to know what your FICO score is. That's what I want to know.
Oh, it's
10% rate.
Do you know when I sold TechCrunch, it was the first wealth I ever had in my life. Amex turned me down for a credit card. And it's just a basic credit card, and my credit score is terrible. And I wrote a story on TechCrunch about that. And Amex was an advertiser, and they put ads up all around the story saying how awful it was. And then their ad agency sent us an email saying you have to take this story down. So I posted that email on TechCrunch as well. And then Amex got. But at that point, Amex was pissed. But the good news is I got the credit card. So, but to answer your question, I have terrible FICO score.
That's why you're raised 10%.
Oh, fair enough. All right, thank you for that. And we have a couple seconds left. The last thing which we thought we'd get to if we had time was this massive credit facility you have that anybody can take a loan against.
Yeah, so we're all about scaling and lowering our funding costs so that we can pass it on to everyone, to you, so that you get your lower interest rates. But we've secured $250 million. I mean, we think it's probably the largest that we've seen in the industry so far.
Dollars.
It's in dollars, $250 million.
So you give you cryptocurrency to hold,
yeah,
and then you give dollars.
Give us your BTC, give us your ETH, give us your XRP. We'll give you dollars, and it's gonna scale from here. I think the thing that is really promising is we're seeing lots of institutional interest come in now to basically say, look, we want exposure, we want to do this. So it tells us it's only getting bigger.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And so how do you get a loan if you want a loan against?
Come to the CRED booth. We actually have a loan officer here. That's actually.
Is there a website as well?
Yeah.
MyCRED.io.
And Uphold, and there'll be a waiting list announced after this.
Excellent. Okay. Great. Thanks so much, you guys. I really appreciate it.